Okay, this video is going to cover trade shows. Trade shows are profitable, but this PPC method is even more profitable than your average trade show is going to be. More so, this method is about multiplying what a trade show might already do for you. And if you don't already do trade shows for your business, can give you some information that explains how profitable trade shows actually are. So you could consider doing that, and then also layer on this PPC strategy on top of what you would do at the trade show to upwards of 10x what you can do at the trade show by itself without all the manual work of actually physically having to do more trade shows to get more sales from the people that go to trade shows, which is what this PPC strategy is going to tap into. So with that said, I will get into the content. We'll go over the method itself after I go over a quick overview, and it'll be everything you need if you're running a trade show to get a lot more out of it, and understand fully why how much you're going to make, what you're going to make, and how much you actually can make, what kind of numbers you can expect from the campaign as well. Okay, so if you sell home goods, health products, agri products, etc., you name what can be sold at a trade show. There's probably a trade show out there that has somebody selling what you sell right now. And obviously, all the vendors at trade shows are listed on the trade show website. So if you haven't done trade shows, you can look there, and if somebody else has been doing it for multiple times, I can tell you that they're making money. You should be strongly considering doing it, basically I'd be doing it yesterday, but for all these categories here, this method I'm going to share with you, and just in general, trade shows have been very, very profitable and for a very long time. Trade shows are decades old. They're tried and true. The reason why they work so well is because doing hand-to-hand sales, you can gain trust that with a PPC ad or doing online, you just can't get so quickly and so easily, which is why people do it. Leads in most industries coming from trade shows, if you did not know already, is about in the $25 to $100 range. And with those leads, from what I've heard from our actual clients that also do trade shows, yes, our PPC clients also do trade shows, but they also do other things. PPC can be the best thing that most of our clients are doing, but the worst number in business is still number one, one by itself. If anything happens to your one marketing method and you're scaled up, it's disaster. So, but if you're going to work in offline marketing to your business, you can work on online and offline and weave it together, and it makes both work better. It's called omni-channel marketing. Each part will work better itself, and what I always advise our clients to do. So if somebody's doing other marketing, I ask about it because we can weave the things together. It'll make our job having to get the client PPC results better. But the trade show leads usually convert about 5 to 20% of those leads that our clients are getting that I talk to on average, but it does depend on the industry, and then obviously what they're selling, because the higher the product price, the lower the conversion rate. Those two are directly always proportional. It's always going to be, and it's always going to be, not just with trade shows, but with PPC or any other marketing you do. As well as the lead cost being higher, the more expensive the product is, because it's there's basically less of a market. So you go there's less people that are going to actually be interested in buying buying one. But with all that said, if trade shows do actually work for you, you can leverage it 10 times more with PPC and using the method I'm talking to you about here, which also involves a little bit of grunt work of doing direct online sales to the people that go to trade shows. So definitely consider doing this if trade shows are working for you at all, because if trade shows work, this will work, and you can go up to 10 times more in sales than you're getting from the trade shows itself. And like I said, you can go do another trade show potentially if there's another trade show that is available in your industry yet. But those trade shows are a lot of work. You can do stuff on the back end of your trade show and get more sales without having to go through all that mess of setting up and scaling the trade shows itself, okay? Which is what I'm going to explain here next. So here's the actual method of how to leverage and multiply the sales that you're going to get from your trade shows. It's a 4-step method, upwards of 5 if you count the bonus. But what you're going to do is you're going to find a list of all the other booth attendees at your last working trade show or conference if you want to. Technically, this does work for conferences too. Respectively with that, going back to what I said before, there's a website that shows the vendors that are going to be at the trade shows. And if you don't have that, you can contact the trade show and you can find out, you can get that information, generally speaking, okay? But what you're going to do is you have the trade show. After the trade show, or even before it, obviously if you know you're going to use this method long term, you can get it before, just so that you have everything perfectly timed. But you get a list of all the people that had booths there. With that, you're going to pitch them saying you will give them between $1 and $10 for each of their leads that they had from that last show that you also were at, or you're going to offer to exchange your leads with them, and so that you don't have to pay them anything, but they'll give you their leads, you'll give them their leads, and then with that you're set up to have more opportunity to market and sell to from that trade show that are similar quality. Technically, yes, if somebody was, interested, they should have contacted you at the trade show already. But a lot of people, they can't contact everybody. There's hundreds of booths. They'll contact a few people, but mostly they're just going to be looking, and they're not going to be giving information to every single person. That's just not how it is. That said, the people that go to the trade shows, they aren't there if they weren't a buyer, or most of them, or a good majority or portion of them. So, through what we found already, I can tell you, if you go after people who haven't contacted you but were at that trade show, you will still get excellent response rates from those leads if you can actually have a way to get a hold of them still. So, instead of just sitting back and waiting for people to come to you and give you their information, you go after them with this method. The cost of $1 to $10 per lead, it varies depending on what niche you're in, what people will accept to have them give you their lead list. But respectively, you only have to do this for about 10 different vendors to get basically the contact information of every single person that was at that trade show. And then with that, you can go on to the next step, which is to run a remarketing campaign at these people, which all you need is their email address or their cell phone number, and you can bring awareness around any product or service you're selling with the ads that you're running, which you can do what I'm talking about here through ad roll on the general web of any website that basically you see banner ads on. You can get through ad roll and their network. You can do it through Facebook itself, through just their email address or their phone number. You can do the same thing on LinkedIn if that seems like it's relevant to your niche, business to business related or what have you. But the main thing is these are all buyers. Again, the great thing about trade shows, yes, there's a hand-to-hand sales element. You can gain trust quickly. That's why you do it. But it is the people that go to trade shows, they have money. And the people that are researching, they'd almost rather go to a trade show than just research online, or at least you'll get a much higher quality prospect of somebody who goes to a trade show versus online, which is also why you go after trade shows specifically and not just do all online. But these are really, really high quality prospects that go to the trade show. Therefore, and there's only so many of them to get, let's get all of them by getting the lead lists from our other, like 10 other vendors at our trade show that was at the trade show with us as well. Respectively, you will get quite a few people if you have a decent banner ad set, not just one banner ad, but run several banner ads. You also want to run a really good landing page that's dedicated for it. Respectively, you can or cannot, we've done this both ways, where you could say something about the trade show on the banner ad on the landing pages. That doesn't always is going to be the thing to do, but one possible option. Okay, and respectively, you have a good 5 different ads that you're going to go at different angles here. You're going to have features of the product or service, benefits of the product or service, a testimonial from a customer, another testimonial from a customer, the Google/Yelp/HomeAdvisor reviews, or whatever your industry review site is, on one ad. You have another ad that says you're running a promotion this month, given that, and here's where the trade show thing can come in. Because we're running a trade show this month, we're offering this month a discount. And you're not saying because you went to the trade show, because that's crossing the privacy line. But you could say because we're running a trade show or at a trade show, we're offering a discount, but this month and this month only, to build up more urgency and demand for, getting their contact information. But it's about getting their contact information, not usually making a sale, at least for anything that costs over $100. And you got to have a good sales process behind this, but you will get a bunch of leads this way because these are good, high quality buyers that you want to get in front of. Okay, so respectively, what I found is, here's as far as numbers goes. You have your sales process, depending on how good that is, that'll dictate a lot of how many sales you make and whether or not you go ahead and use the step 4 and the bonus. But we have found that about 0.1 to 2% of the actual leads from your lead list that you have from the other trade show vendors, you can get as an actual customer, because these people had money in their pocket, they were there to buy stuff, and you have a decent remarketing ads and landing page sequence to educate them, like one ad at a time, one step at a time, while your product or service that's relevant to what they were in market to buy anyway. If you were at a health conference or a health trade show, health product trade show, and you have a great, health product, you educate them through the banner ads that rotate out for the user, and it only costs about a penny to have an ad show up for somebody one time, if you didn't know that. Not per click, but per time it shows up. You can get 0.1 to 2% of those actual leads to convert into a sale. First getting them as a lead and then selling to them, respectively. And that's also for people. You can get those numbers even if you have the price of your product or service is over $1,000. To give you a general idea of the markets that I've seen this done in and got that 0.1 to 2% range, we had somebody that sold windows at a trade show, generators, so like power backup for houses, this is itself done in, not so much in the US, but another country, which I won't mention. Specifically detox product. So at a health product trade show, they had a detox product, this company, the client itself, that they were marketing that, and that actually also did in that general range. Farm equipment. So at an agricultural trade show, somebody selling the ag equipment also did the same thing, which is, basically, as you know, your buyer's there, the people are there, are already spending money on your product or services. You didn't quite get their lead. Don't just give up on them. Get the lead from somebody else. Everybody, will contact 1 to 3% of the booths or whatever, or 5%. And if you just go get everybody else's lead, now you got everybody else to be able to follow up on. But anyway, all 4 of these companies I've seen do this. We did this on the back end. you know, when I'm asking other people about what other marketing you're doing, like I said, going back to earlier on in this video, I'm doing it because I can interweave what else they're doing with the PPC to get the PPC, more so because I'm responsible for the PPC to get the PPC to work, and also just to offer a good, well-rounded service, a service that has the highest value possible also to the client. But respectively, then, if I know they ran a trade show, I bring up whether they do it or don't do it. If you could get the leads from that conference, get them to us, we'll run an ad campaign at them, and you'll get a bunch of leads off of that itself. And depending on how good you are with having a good sales process set up, you can actually multiply, like we're doing here and saying here, the amount of sales that you got from that trade show. And respectively, you know, obviously if you're in a place that has like even a B2B, you get B2B leads at your trade show, this method can be, you know, it could be a 7-figure sales system, given, you know, it doesn't take very many customers to really rack things up as far as sales go. And if you're doing, and wish you just had a few more of those leads, B2B leads at your trade show, this is a gold strategy. But respectively, what I'll generally do on the remarketing campaigns, going back to the process itself, I'll usually run that campaign for about 60 days, having those, you know, 5 or so ads cycling out, rotating out, educating that user by you know, piece by piece as to, you know, what it is that we do, why it's important, what's different about it, why it should be trusted, why you should do something, why you should act now. All those ads work together as far as a system. You use a landing page to get their basic information so that you can contact them, name, phone number, email, and you'll get some sales that way. You got to be able to answer these leads right away. If somebody fills out the form, you need to be able to answer within 15 minutes when the lead's hot, because when these display network leads, we found out, not just in this exact scenario, but in a lot of scenarios, people don't answer their phone anymore. So if you wait longer than 15 minutes, particularly with display ads, you're not going to be able to get people on the phone. So you don't waste your time with it, basically, if you can't have a salesperson to answer the phone right away. And if it's after hours, that's another thing. But you know, during regular business hours that you have this running, or as much as you can, that's what you do. And the phone calls, if they call, you got to for sure answer it, because you're not going to get them later. They're curious. It's hard to get somebody to respond on a display campaign. When they do, you can't blow it, basically. But you run it for about 60 days. After 60 days, you know, you got pretty much what you're probably going to get out of it. For those who will be interested, have already replied. Naturally, if you said that you ran a trade show and then therefore you're offering a special, you know, discount this month, that would kind of line up with the 60 days, and that you can only run that for so long anyway. But beyond that, though, if you really want to get this to work, the banner ads, unfortunately, by itself aren't going to be the be-all, end-all to be able to get this 0.1 to 2% of your list to convert into a sale, like actual sale. You're going to have to do more in terms of what you're doing, reaching out. And so some people don't want to do this. Some people can get by without doing it and still make money. But what I recommend do is, going into step 4 here, is you email a personal introduction at them mentioning you are referred by somebody at the conference to their email address, okay? Which means you have their email address from the other trade show vendor. You email them and you come up with a script sort of like this. Hello, I had gotten word from another person at XYZ trade show that you were at the trade show and you were interested in, you know, home products, so like good quality home products that are a good value, and, you know, describe kind of what the benefits of your product are, that are a good value and you know, basically are on the cutting edge of, you know, the market of home construction products in the market, I would like to just be able to make you aware of our product, which we were there at the trade show as well. We never got a chance to speak to you, but we would like to be able to speak to you and show you as well the type of product that we had there, because I really think that you would have enjoyed learning about it. And then have a link to your landing page where that landing page describes the product as if you were going to describe it to them in person at the trade show. It's a longer sales page type landing page. But what you're really hoping for with that email, is for them to reply. So you're going to write that, as you heard it there, you're going to write it as if you're having a personal conversation and as if you know that person directly. All the emails, marketing emails that I send out for our own firm, and I always tell anybody, our clients anyway, should always be in the first person. It should sound like you're talking directly with that person and you're sending an email to him or her and only him or her. Because what's great about that is because they'll reply to the email and then you got a lead then. So respectively, in this situation here, a lot of times they'll say, yeah, I think your product is nice. And you'll get a good, 5 to 10% of people, if you write that email well, to reply because it sounds relevant enough. That email by itself, sent to a random person, wouldn't really get that high of compliance rate, but because you said we were at this trade show, it gets a super high response rate as per what it normally would have. Okay? And obviously they're interested in your exact products. These are like the best people you could target in your market. So the chances are that your product, if it's cool, they're going to seem like it's cool enough that they want to say, yeah, it looks nice, or whatever, comment something. All you got to do is get them to say something. Because if they say one word, you got your foot in the door with them. That's what you're going with this email. You got to make it seem like you know them, are close enough to them enough that they are obligated almost to just reply to you that you emailed them. And with that, you take that lead in and you run with it. The other thing you can do, as far as the bonus here, is you can add them to Facebook and contact them there. A lot of people don't realize, and it should be still today. This has been the case for a long time. Or by the time you watch this, things may change, but you could take someone's email address and put it in the search bar on Facebook, and you could find a user's account from that. And then you can instant message the person and do the same exact kind of scenario there. Hey, John, I'm contacting you because I got referred to you by another person that was at the XYZ conference. I thought you would really appreciate our product that we had here. Wanted to show it to you. Another thing at the end, to invoke a response, what do you think? Into your response like that, because then it gets the person thinking, gosh, I have to reply now. And again, all you got to do is just get them to reply. It's not about getting them to say yes to anything in terms of buying something or would you buy it, but just get them to reply. It's the same concept as live chat on a website. I've talked about in other videos on this channel that when you have live chat on a website, first of all, people usually just wait for people to type to you. And a small percentage will of all your traffic, but you can get, like 30 times more conversations going on if you reach out to them. Just say, hey, I know you're looking at this, this new club set, golfing club set. I'm a golfing club set expert, and I can help you make your decision here. What questions do you have about this club set that I can answer for you? And they'll reply at a decently high rate. And then because you get them to reply once, you can take that conversation into a sale, and you'll get massively increased conversion rates on your traffic coming to your site that way. It's similar to, if you had a furniture store and when people came in, you had your salespeople come up to talk to people directly. And so it's just about instigating a conversation so that you can build rapport. And that first email is just to get a reply however you need to do it, and then you build rapport from there, and then you can make the sale. So that's what you do there as well. So it's, you run your remarketing, hopefully get them to reply there. But the other thing the remarketing actually does is it makes people aware of your product or service, so that when you message them to their email address later and Facebook later, if you also do that, they will be familiar of your brand, so that it will also seem like they know you even more. You said the name of the trade show they were at. They remember that. You say the name of the product. They think they've heard of it before. Even if they haven't clicked on your ad, they've seen it through their peripheral vision, and they think they know it, which makes the response, the initial rate in which, or chances which they'll respond to your initial email much, much higher, because they've seen your banner ads. And because you seem familiar, they're way more likely to respond. So the banner ads, you run those before you reach out to them, because you need the familiarity to be able to get the high response rate when you reach out to them directly, if you get my point here. So respectively, if you want the 0.1 to 2% conversion rate of your leads, you're going to have to follow this system here. You're first of all going to have to have accurate data, but you run your remarketing ads everywhere that you can. So for sure, if this person's on the web at all, they're going to see your ads. You have a good series of ads that rotate out from each other. A decent landing page that has a full-length sales page that says the ins and outs of all the main things that you would say in a direct sales pitch to a person. Then you, after 60 days of running that campaign heavy, turn it off. Make sure each person's seen the ads like 100 times. Reach out to them by email, and then also reach out to them by Facebook. If you wanted to take this a step further, you could call them as well. But generally speaking, that's what you do to get things to get these numbers here, the 0.1 to 2%. You may have to add a bit more on the sales side, a bit less depending on how cool your product or service is or how novel it is, but that's pretty much the formula right there. If somebody essentially rents you that list, and somebody wants to know who referred you, if you're wondering, like if people are wondering like about that, you could just, obviously just say, oh, I can't remember whose name it was or whatever. I don't recommend saying I got your name from another company who sold you their list, obviously. But that's how I would just recommend you handling that. I know, as kind of halfway crooked as that is, basically there's a similar trick that I know that Dan Kennedy had mentioned on one of his that they used to do there, which was they would get the list of magazine subscribers of a certain magazine, and then when they would send that person a letter, they would say, hey, fellow Forbes magazine subscriber. So right away it gets your attention so that they're willing to read and really take stock in the rest. And now it's no longer spam, which is what this is all about. Hey, someone referred you to me from XYZ conference. What you send is no longer spam. And because you've already seen your product, chances, there's a lot of people who've seen your product and are intrigued by it, but they're not intrigued enough to reach out to a salesperson right away. So you're going to get a lot of people who will respond to that, way more than you think. Okay? But anyway, that's in general the multiplier strategy for trade shows. If you want to go ahead and take things further, what I would recommend to you in order to do it, and what we're doing, have done in several spaces: Windows generators, detox products, farm equipment, and therefore that's enough of a spread of companies that if you got trade shows to work for you anyway now, it's going to work for you. Go ahead and give it a shot. But I'll wrap it up with that. I have a ton of other videos on this channel, If you like what you see, I recommend subscribing to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you could like this video. It will help the algorithm, help me be able to help more people here with the content I'm making. If you want to see more of step-by-step information on how to build PPC campaigns, the one to make money and stuff that does actually out there, there's winners out there that are running that I've built. You can go to guaranteedppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions there to build your own campaigns, in which we use to guarantee our clients results that I've written personally myself, and which you can see there. And maybe that'll be of use to you as well. If you have any comments or questions about this strategy itself, you can leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, typically within a day or two. And with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in my next video when it comes out in another couple days. See you there.